All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge debate going on in Washington. And, it's one you've probably never even heard of. But trust me, it affects your phone and your safety. The whole thing boils down to one pretty startling question. So let's just jump right in with this scenario, because it really gets to the core of the problem. I mean, just think about it. What if the very tech that makes our lives faster and more connected could, at the worst possible moment, completely shut down our ability to defend ourselves? Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about here. And look, this isn't some boring technical issue buried in government paperwork. No, this is a really fundamental choice between two things we all care about: that amazing commercial innovation that powers our connected lives versus the national security that, keeps us safe. So, what's at the very center of this whole conflict? Well, it's an invisible, totally finite resource, one that is absolutely essential to our modern world. Okay, so the best way to think about the electromagnetic spectrum is like invisible real estate. Seriously, every single wireless thing, your car radio, your Wi-Fi at home, even the most advanced military systems, they all travel through these airwaves. And just like land, there's only so much of it to go around. It's a scarce resource. And for the last few years, the big priority has been to auction off huge chunks of this invisible real estate for commercial use. We're talking about everything that powers our phones, our Netflix binges, all of it. And what's left? Well, it's left the Department of Defense with just a handful of frequency bands that are exclusively theirs. So you can probably guess what happened next, right? This scarcity has kicked off this intense tug of war for what's left of the airwaves. And it's between two really powerful groups. And here's the kicker: both of them have incredibly legitimate needs. So it really boils down to this. On one side, you've got the commercial telecoms. They need more bandwidth, more of that invisible real estate to build out 5G and start dreaming up 6G for all of us. But on the other side, you have the Department of Defense, and they're saying, whoa, hold on, we need exclusive, totally uninterrupted access to certain frequencies for systems you just can't replace, like our missile defense radars. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This whole debate, it completely cuts across party lines. I mean, how often do you hear that about an issue in Washington? This is absolutely not a partisan fight. You got leaders from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, all saying the same thing: we have to protect these military frequencies. In fact, and this is wild, it's one of the very few issues where the Biden Pentagon and the Trump Pentagon are in complete lockstep. Both have said that losing these frequencies would be, and I'm not exaggerating, catastrophic for military readiness. Okay, but let's be clear. The fight isn't over the entire spectrum. Not at all. It's actually laser-focused on one very specific piece of it, a slice that experts have nicknamed the Goldilocks Zone for missile defense. We're talking about this range right here. The conflict is all about this very specific frequency range, what they call the low 3 gigahertz band. This one tiny slice of that invisible real estate, that's what this entire debate is about. Pretty crazy, right? So why is this S-band so darn special? Well, they call it the Goldilocks Zone for a reason. Its physical properties are just right. It lets radar see over a huge, broad area, but it also has the power to punch right through bad weather. I'm talking clouds, rain, you name it. That means you get a crystal clear picture of any potential threats, no matter what. And when you look at how it works, you see exactly why having exclusive use is so critical. See, a missile defense radar isn't something you just switch on when there's trouble. It has to be on all the time, constantly surveilling. Then, it has to identify a threat, track its path second by second, and then, the most important part, guide an interceptor missile to take it out. Any interference, even from a regular old cell tower, could basically blind the radar at any one of those crucial steps. The whole system could fail. And listen, these aren't some theoretical systems sitting in a lab somewhere. No way. They're the actual backbone of U.S. missile defense, and they're active right now, today. We're talking about the Navy's Aegis ships out on the ocean, the Army's Patriot batteries, and that massive radar up in Alaska that's keeping an eye on potential threats from places like North Korea. So you hear all that and you think, wow, the stakes are incredibly high. And they are. So the big question is, how is Washington trying to fix this? Is there even a path forward? Well, the good news is, yes, it seems so. Right now, key leaders in Congress, from both sides of the aisle, remember, are hammering out a compromise. The idea is to let the FCC start auctioning off spectrum again, but, and this is a big but, with some very clear rules attached. And the solution they're floating actually seems pretty balanced. It would protect that absolutely critical S-band for the military, no touching that, but it would also authorize the auction of other, less sensitive bands for the telecoms to grow into. It's kind of designed to give both sides a partial win. The crucial thing to remember, though, is that this deal is not final. Not yet. This isn't just a domestic American debate either. There's a really critical global perspective here. Think about this. Our strategic competitors, like China, they aren't auctioning off these frequencies. Not a chance. They reserve this exact same S-band for their own military, because they know just how vital it is for air defense. So, you see, this isn't just about domestic policy. It's directly tied into that larger strategic competition over tech and security. The decisions we make about these invisible airwaves, they have very real, very serious consequences for maintaining our technological edge and, of course, for ensuring national security in what is an increasingly competitive world. Which really leaves us with this final question, right? It's something that forces all of us to think about the trade-offs we're willing to make. As our world gets more and more connected and our demand for speed just keeps growing, how do we balance what's super convenient for our daily lives with what is absolutely necessary for our collective security? It's a tough one.